Well, hello again, friends. Sorry for my slight tardiness. You find us back here at Luton again, rather than resuming the flight, and with just one sector instead of two. And all I can say is, really do is apologise for doing streams where we end up really making our destination. And I'm sure you can appreciate how frustrating it is. For me, it's not even as if I can really do anything about it, which is the most frustrating aspect, because there isn't really anything to go on. So this flight I have loaded up Explain with Aftermath, and that may give us a clue, but it was just a complete hang up yesterday. So, disaster. Hopefully, fingers crossed, and hope isn't a strategy, but that's all I can do. Not a lot else for me to go on. Hopefully we will make it to Dublin. It's relatively quiet on VATSIM, I think. We are the only one at Luton. Stansted, London City, Heathrow, Gatwick are online. Manchester, which is our alternate, and Liverpool, Dublin. It's quiet. Glasgow's open. And Copenhagen, which we don't see very often. So, happy days. So it's probably going to be a relatively quiet flight. So with that in mind, I'll look at the weather in a moment, but we've certainly planned for 07 and planned for 10 right arrival at Dublin. Let's see if we can manage that. So completely cold dark, I haven't even loaded up the payload, and we're going to use the exact same figures, etc. from yesterday. Into the cockpit. I am going. There we go. I have the payload page ready. 5484. We're not going to need much fuel because today the weather is a lot better, and I've taken away the additional 30-minute reserve. So we don't need that. Our cruise is at 340 today, which is 1,000 foot higher, I assume, because of the winds. 34, 268, 20. Yeah. Because everything else is identical. So, without further ado, let's out to the airplane, quick and dirty. The nav lights are on steady. That indicates we'll be on ground power. They're on. Somebody's at the airplane. I'm going to set 3. Think about it. 50 change. And we can reselect the rocket. Great. Hello, Mark. Yes, it is enhanced Skyscapes, and the fantastic bit of the update was this little menu here around high performance, high quality style 1. I think that's just the default one. You can add as many as you, maybe not as many as you like, but you can add more than those, and you can play around with it. The big thing for me really is the consistency of frame rate. Now the CPU is going through the roof a bit here. I assume buildings and such, you can see it drops off there. And when we're looking that way, they're not the most realistic clouds, but they are pretty darn good. And most importantly, regardless of sort of the thickness of the clouds, unlike the default ones, GPU load is entirely manageable, and it really doesn't seem to peak much. Currently I'm CPU limited here with this frame time, but I haven't had drops in 20s, and at the press button you can go to high performance, and you can see because we're CPU limited that hasn't changed, but the CPU has dropped to 250, and if I pop that back, a little bit of an increase there to 280, 290, so that extra little bit can make all the difference. Yeah, to be honest, it's reinstall it, update it, and have a go. Like I say, it's the performance, it's the consistency of performance for me that is the big draw for this. To be honest, I get much much fewer dips than I did, even using Active Sky performance clouds. So it makes a big difference, and they are volumetric. They're not 100% realistic, but they're a lot better than those billboards and a lot better consistency perspective. Anyway, where were we? Quick and dirty startup. Let's get rig back on, haven't I? So IRS, just for information, 8-9 minutes. Both on a line. Tick. Or damper, that won't trip off. IRS is off. Normal. Go. Gonna bother with the cross feed. Pumps off. Lights all off. Wipers parked. Util IV. Scan. We'll leave those off. We will fuel, but not for long. HOTAS right. Diff 0. Door, stairs, cargo doors open. The pressure caution has gone out. Power test. Go. There. But hey, I like to. You'd have really good. You'd have conditioned air in reality. I'm going to set that to auto, but I'm not explaining why. Certainly for the first start of the day, how do you know the isolation for the pump is working? In the automatic mode, unless you start the engine with it. If we set that to close at the APU, it goes to start engine number 2, it won't start because that's the path of the air into the starter. So with it open, of course the valve is open, but with it in auto, the valve has to open automatically for that to work. And you'd also see it with packs as well, so that's one. Do it. So all the lights, overhead initials done. I think it was 4-1 for departure. We'll set the brake test off. Rolling pressure we have. Brake is on. Checked. Transponder standby. Lights as I like them. The radios are set and ready. Luton's NDB is US. That's an AIP sub. I'm sure I mentioned that a while ago. So I'll use it. I'm just going to set some random figures there. And we won't tune it because we can't. But we can still, of course, put the MSAs in because although that will be based on a locator, it's, the FMC knows where. So that V3 set for Henton. And just have that set both sides. Good. So let's do the payload, shall we? It's 113 packs, so I can either put in the total payload, which I have to work out. So the OFP has got the 0 fuel weight of 50.7. If we take away the 40.1, it gives us a total payload of 10.6. So you can put 0.6 work. There you go, look. That gives you a random number generated of passengers and cargo, but we know that's not what we have. So that's one way you can do it. It achieves exactly the same thing. I suppose one thing we can is you go look very forward CG because of packs. Whereas what I'm going to do is put in 113 passengers, and I'm then going to put all of the cargo in the back, 174, and look how much the CG's moved, 4% to the rear, so big difference. So you should be able to feel how the aeroplane handles those CG moving as well. And we need 5484. So it's just a splash more fuel.
Ground flight deck hose is connected and starting refueling.
Happy days. So that's happening. I have started Pegasus, I've started the Lantern.
Ground flight deck fuel is all loaded up and you are good to go.
Good to go. Right, let's get rid of the frame rate counter. Start that. So winglets 26k, both sides. are on stand 3 again. And like I always say, if you're flying online, make sure you have pen and paper. I just scribble that down next to the departure clearance section of the OFP. Yes, it's bad for the environment to print it all off, but you do need something to write down on. Read it back, write it down, double check it. Which fuel have we got just while I'm at the thing? So 50, we've got 5.5. And we are off to Dublin. Same call sign as ever. So that we know that we're going to be able to log on and get that.
Guys, the wheels on board.
So, Compton, Upper Lima 9, KENET, yes, no, Lima 1 for MEDOG, Lima 18 to ABLIN, and then we could have done Lima 18 to LIPGO, but I just added it on from 10. We can pick it off if we need to. That's what I've filed anyway, and then LIPGO from right. Looking on there, 263. See if that comes up. Have to work it out. Knows where we are. Going. Anyway, ground distance of 327 is within the park, isn't it? So. Dated. Good. So zero fuel weight, that would come from the load sheet. Now the estimated. Don't forget on the OFP, it's an estimated takeoff weight man. Zero fuel weight. These are all factors that changed. Just rely on the plan. 53.7, we got 59. That's fine. It's like the same 200 kilos. Update my settings, etc., but it doesn't really matter. 5.5, we've got reserves today, 2578 kilos, round up to 2.6, round 7, and that's the point at which we need to, well, at 2578 total fuel, we need at that point to either land at Dublin or we have to go to Manchester. We'll then get to Manchester and we will, in theory, then have 30 minutes reserve fuel. And if you're going to land with less than your final reserve fuel, 30 minutes, that is your priority, but that is emergency. So that's why that's important. And just rounding it up gives you an extra couple of minutes. That cool. Just index 6, as I said, 3.0 today. And double line win. 3, relatively light. Double line ice today is 7. And we'll do the thing. Moment that we get the weather. So Southend, Gatwick, Thames are all online, still nothing hit. And what have we got? 13:20 Zulu weather. So, and again, this is me writing it down. An automatic report, the variable 2 knots, 10k, view at 600 feet, overcast at 2,500. Temperature 5, dew point 4, big pressure drop from yesterday. So preferential runway wise, you at Luton. I assume this configuration is easterly departures, just because it's a much bigger displacement to an intersection departure. You'd have to do a lot of backtracking, so that would reduce capacity. So I presume that that's the one we use. Use it. 1024 set both sides. And we can add is that we are going to use 07, I suppose. Look on the map. Variable at 2, and the issue being that that could happily swing round and flip the ILS. Interesting. Anyway, Compton 7 Charlie, that's the chart I've got in front of us. I am going to set 109.5 DME for that, for the departure. So useful for in case we need to come back. Set Bombington here. 7.5. All this infrastructure is going to disappear at some point. But on that side, it's just one less thing to do. Don't need it. Ski Echo, Enlow. Only flown in there one. Flown from there twice, but I definitely flew to Enlow once. So the stop out is 4,000. I'm going to leave that set until we line up. Just have ATC on mine, and of course they can come online in case we need flight director can come on my side. It's straight ahead. Initially, which is 075. As shown, 3 DME, turn right, 5.6 to enter. And we can use the radials for that 4,000 point, so 038. No, we can't. I'm talking rubbish. I'm EME's at Bollington's on the other side. So it's going to be 256 my side. Now we're going to have the nav aids line 038 this side. Gives you that intersection there. That's still dashed. Then 008 for 5,000. And then to Henton. So therefore, I mean ideally Henton. This side. And we'll fly straight to it. Picking it up anyway, you'd have to tune and identify those using code. Don't have it coded. I believe in reality that does actually decode the identity because the more it is, the more this test. Hey Captain Matty, thanks for joining. Hopefully, crossed. We're going to have a good one. So, check those legs. 76 Delta. That's the turn. God, what? Miles. Interesting. Haha, 3.9. I think, ladies and gentlemen, we have found a bug. Interesting. I'll have to watch that back. 38 Golf, 4,000, 08 Delta, 5, so initial climb, 4,000, then 5, then between 3, then 5 again, then 5 again. That's what I want. Yep, 5, and up. And if it's quiet, we will bust through all of those happily. Got the December forecast winds in now, so I don't forget we are at 1, 200, 100. QNH at Dublin 102B. And it's a bit of a waste, but if I forget, then it'll be relatively close. And the winds from the OFP, if you're not familiar as to where I'm getting these from, 4616. And this just refines the path. You can do it using mental maths. It just saves fuel in reality, or reason for having the FMC. And of course course, you know, save 5% on every flight every day. That's a vast saving. Fuel, I think it's right in saying that it's the biggest cost. Certainly the biggest cost when I go flying. Nigh on £2 a litre for avgas these days. So, N1 59.4, burn at least 100 kilos. And again, we're going to do it from the intersection. Slightly. So wind, yeah, variable. The MET are 0.245 degrees. So that's important for density altitude. Density altitude today minus 884 feet. So that gives us significantly improved performance. But it does when you're in a low powered aeroplane. And going on the Jepson chart for the intersection for 07 Bravo 1982 Point Tora. And I'm using this AppSoft Airplane Toolbox is now a separate app, so you can run it on a tablet over your net, which is arguably a lot better. So 59.4, 100. NTIS is going to be optimum for map. I'm going to set that to 5 odd things. Engine bleeds, calculate. So we said 07 Bravo by runway, and we are getting flat 5, 24k. No assumed temperature, so EVGA takeoff. 2 meters, that gives us a takeoff required of 1629 and a stop margin 35. So we could, in theory, 629, we could actually go from hotel. We're not going to though. Just a little bit unnecessary. Say 24k, there it is. Outside air temperature is 5 degrees. Suppose you can type that in. Fill it in. I might think that doesn't that link up with the climbs there. It's actually more efficient. You use surprisingly less fuel, higher power. Your time to climb is quicker. So flap 5, 525 because the CG is the same as yesterday. It's close enough. And the V speeds that I've got 131, 30, I'll take them lower. 132. They're within a knot, so you can actually use these. 141 and don't. And V2, set it to MCP. So could put the estimated takeoff weight in there. Take those. All them close enough. And acceleration height again. How did that work yesterday? Not particularly well. We don't really clean up around that turn. So why don't we? I don't think it'll be a thrust reduction. I think it's thrust increase, to be fair. Going to end up using speed in. So let's accelerate at 1500. Take the thrust reduction at 1500 as well. By then, probably be in vertical speed. Let's keep stop the airplane from leveling off and just smooth it out a little. Ways down. Okay. MCP set. once it's sat down, the APU started. Let's think about getting going. Don't forget, in reality, you'd get conditioned air straight to the cabin, or at least you should. Take that
Ground
again.
to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you're ready.
And there's still nobody online.
Lights flash on and off. It's also an indication for you to actually make sure that your seatbelt is securely fastened, ready for departure.
So, just really hitting on the APU.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
That's going to get us connected. Important when you have got ATC online, I say it, but we'll treat it as realistically as and we're just meeting for 3 minutes. Take the air. It will connect up. This doesn't have a tow bar, so let's do dash into 1600 and that on.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
And you can also see from the map that there's nobody here. That does show up. Really useful on the X-plane map at least. So, they're good to go. Pop the transponder on.
Go connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Strapped in. Give us a ring if you need anything.
Okay, so cabin is secure. Happy days. Here you go, 1400. 10 seconds for the air. Back on. To 28, we are tuned to live traffic. Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, stand 3, push and start, facing south, Ortho traffic. Look around, make sure there is nobody here. Happy days.
Starting pushback and you may start engines.
Use 10 kilos of fuel there. Pushback taking us. Tug driver may have had a few beers for lunch. Okay, so packs off. He's slowed down a bit. We'll start engine 2, and as you can see, isolation valve auto. Start switch. There we go. So looking down at the N2, you might struggle to see that a bit, but I can. 85% or max motoring above 20, fuel on. I have the WARTHOG HOTAS here. A couple of switches for the engine start levers, so that makes things. Yeah, they're a bit hard to get hold of with the mouse. On the Jamesons. Lunch of champions. unless you're in a safety critical environment. Like most of the X-plane ground crew here driving through it. Anyway, engine 2 looks stable. 2, 6, 3, that's 6-ish. It's pounds.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Brake set.
Disconnecting tow.
Checked.
Stand by.
Start engine number 1. Disconnect. Oh, I think I just heard that tiny little tick. It's probably a bit loud for you guys. I do have a headset on, so I have the aircraft audio, etc. coming through.
Bypass pin has been removed.
Speakers
Hand
on my
signal
desk.
on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Good. So, 2, 6, 3, both engines stable. Checklist effectively to the line, or actually a line. That's a very easy flow. Here he is with the pin. So there we go. Lap 5 selected. And ever since I turned the auto save on when I start this flight up, it have the option to resume, so let's see if that works. Be nice to not hit. One thing I was very impressed with, so originally with X-plane, was how stable it was, certainly in comparison to crashes, awful junk that used to happen. FSX back in the day, because that was getting exceptionally long in the tooth. Set, checked. Maxi checklist, generators on is the lights are off, lights on condition, units off, start switches, set to continuous. Repeat is on, anti-ice is not required. Positioning packs auto, leads on, isolation valve auto. Map 5 required, 5 set. Stab trim 25, about 525 set. Well, from here, that leaves 2 idle D10. Flight controls checked, recall checked. To taxi. Good traffic right now, 7 Delta X-ray taxiing, holding point Bravo 1, runway 07 via Bravo traffic. So, brakes off. Config checked, which is just a brisk move of throttles forwards. What I didn't do was check clearly left. Somebody drives into us. So LNAV departure, and then we manually accelerate, expecting that the aeroplane will actually increase power initially rather than reduce power. And in VNAV the aeroplane will accelerate, so as well we only above 17 feet, I think. Burning. So I think but yeah, these clouds don't look bad, do they? Frame rate. It's not ideal, but it's the CPU that's dragging things down there. Because I mean, I try not to have too much running in the background, but it is difficult to have much running in the background. I've got OBS running, X-Pilot, Volanta, Pegasus, one instance of Chrome open, AppSoft, something, network, Active Sky. Did I say that's it? I've got 2 iPads running as well. Yeah, I mean it's a hell of a lot better. It's not perfect, you've got the artifacts, the noise around structures and stuff. He said we can go from hotel here. Going to desperately need to. That's a rogue taxiway light that I'm get into the world editor and delete out. There you go, there's my project. That mystery taxi light. These are good. Little red ones stuck to the ground. Somebody's put a bit of thought. So, short taxi, let's get the cabin secure. Till 14:15.
Okay, the cabin is secured. Have a good flight.
Now let's hold. Interesting because you then can hold for the ILS. So, you know, that's normally a Cat 2-3, which I might check. So Bravo 2, I guess this should be. I mean, it could be that the scenery got that wrong. So Bravo 2, ILS. Cat 3, Cat 2-3, ILS. Anyway, really matter for us. LNAV departure, on online, self-cleared, clear ourselves, off, lights on, lights, camera, action, really. So, last double check, 141. Check the trim. You don't end up disaster after takeoff. Traffic Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray lining up takeoff. 07 Compton 7 departure loop traffic. So it breaks off. Okay. Interesting. Gonna be 14. Kick off. Just under 5. I used 120 kilos of fuel. Taxi. Got the rising runway because the ILS tuned.
Approaching 08.
There's that threshold that ruined it. Ruined our trip on the way in here with you. And it's great that you can see the terrain falling away. So just because you've been cleared, you can always check. Please check the approach. God, it's like a student lining up this.
On
There.
runway 08.
Because we are on slope. It's not even that good a lineup, is it? Anyway, correct runway. Self-clear for takeoff, there's no traffic, so power, toga, climb. Forward pressure on whatever controller you're using. Large rudder inputs to keep the airplane straight, especially in a crosswind. As the airplane speeds up, the rudder becomes more effective. Use the input speed guns to check the speed. Pressure. Just making sure both airspeed and V1 off the throttle, rotate smoothly, 3.5
That's
seconds
great.
to 10 degrees, pull through the dead band, at a positive rate call, you're up.
400.
I'll have my director.
1000.
Command A, there we go, we were in trim, so that worked. They were flat 1500. The argument is pick the up speed. There you go, climb. Oh no, it was a reduction. Accelerating above the carrot, flap 1. That's good scenery, good ortho. So flap 1, up.
1,000 to go.
Okay, that'll settle the aeroplane down a bit. Let's flap up. We'll let the airplane do that at the maneuver speed. Auto brake off. Flaps up, no lights. Off. I'm going to leave the cabin secure. Start switches to continuous for the moment because it's on. Turn into this cloud. See that has smoothed off that transition. Lower speed has kept our turn a little bit later. Out hold. Yeah, make sure you check here going on. And you may think, why not just speed up to 250? It's just going to increase the radius of turn. 256 to Henton is what we can see. It's on the engine line. See what I mean about it being volumetric? Just drift into it like in reality. It's quite a nice effect when you get shadows. I think for 15 bucks, if you've got $15, it's good. South is on mine, so tune upward. Is probably speaking to us. Go. So a little bit stuttery, but again still CPU limited. Of course, the VNAV will take care of this for you, but it's impressive price point. Really is. VNAV will take care of all of this for you, but it's going to do it very coarsely, agricultural, as I would potentially assume. So there's the 4, and you can see conventional nav agent be tracking 256, and you'd be looking to cross that radial. And that radial is 038, so when the tail of that is 038, that's where you want to be. Nightmare to work out conventionally. So set 5. And we'll maintain 5. Scenery. Got the time to figure out Ortho. It's awesome. So let's do 500 feet a minute. It's nice and gradual. Them out. You can see the cabin's pressurizing already. 500 feet.
$1,000 to go.
Increased rate of climb because yeah, at 5. airspace, I believe. That might separate us from the approach, right? The approach is 3 and then under there, so we didn't quite make that. 008 is that point, which you can see there. Don't need more than Compton on there. Going 225 towards it. Please. Just looking quite nice, isn't it? Can't turn off the anti-ice. We're along at 5 until we get to Compton. Hello, that was weird. I really do hope X-Plane 12 up with nice transitions. This thing. So, Alton out here to our right. Ross Enfield. Happy hour spent there flying. Turbine over at by Aylesbury. Just who's going to come carving through this landscape. And of course, like I say, in reality, cleared very early. 1,000 feet over here, but hey, why not? Good afternoon, Ryanair 7 at Delta X-ray. Compton 7 Charlie out of Luton, altitude 5,000.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray London control, hello, satellite.
No, I think he goes from
London control, good afternoon, easy 172 Alpha with satellite. Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray London control, hello, sensible please. 7023.
Squawk 7023, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray.
Thunder control, good afternoon. Thundercat 21, South Bay from Southend. UNH1024, requesting start IFR gap. Thanks for calling, just stand by. I'm not taking anything new at the moment, but I will call you back when I'm ready for it. Ryanair 143, climb flight level 360. Climb flight level 360, Ryanair 143. Tomjet 122, you need to speed up, please.
Oh, VATSIM. Good old VATSIM. I don't mean to laugh, but it is quite funny.
Is it 3829 London? He's through tonight with you. Is it 3829 London? Hello, descend now, flight level 80. Descend now 80, through tonight.
I think I called early.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, climb flight level 110.
And flight level 110, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray.
November 2 Kilo Hotel under control. November 2 Kilo Hotel, are you aware of the initial altitude on that bid?
I guess not, if you happen to ask.
Okay, well on the chart you have to maintain 5,000 feet. You're currently at flight level 180 and you're looking to fly flight level 400 to Liverpool. Okay, November 2 Kilo Hotel, climb flight level 240.
A bit of VNS to finesse. And
the station that was looking for it to start, who was the station calling? London Light, Thundercat 21 off ground at
It's not too bad, is it?
I request engine start on Gatwick, we've got 1024 on board. Thundercat 21, I passed away, sorry? Apologies, I just filed south and it's Gatwick. Yeah, that's fine, I've got
Does add a lot to the immersion.
Control, hello sir. This is Alpha 526, is you at flight level 180. Hello, I don't control you, Modest Unicom now 122, have a good Christmas, bye-bye. Roger, 1 this way, please, bye-bye. And easy,
VNAV.
the guy
VNAV speed.
3 behind, 172 Alpha London.
Yeah, go ahead, 172.
Easy 172 Alpha London Control, hello to you. Descent flight level 160 and flight heading 0903.
090 and down to flight level 160, easy 172.
London Control, good evening, Lufthansa E25 here, flight level Alpha, Alpha, yeah.
1,000 to go.
325, I don't control up there at the moment, I'll call you back when I need you.
Climb 283.
London, Golf,
Good 31 Golf London Control, no set 0330.
So there you go, look, airplane, 2000 cabin. That's
London Control,
Flight
good
not set.
afternoon, Lufthansa E25, flight level 50.
Dispatch 325, I don't control up there, Modest Unicom, I will call you back when I need you though.
Can't do back, Unicom, take it.
Easy 3829, turn left, heading 285, expect to see our left approach runway 085.
023 set before top of climb.
285, vector 0835. Stuber 31 Golf, descent flight level 3, credit, descent flight level 130. Descent 130, Stuber Golf.
And we'll let punters out, finish this turn.
Object 122, flight level 37. Object 122, climb flight level 370. Ryanair 143, nothing first, you want Unicom 122.8, Merry Christmas.
My Unicom 122.8, Merry Christmas, and okay, with you before the 10 nautical miles, KENET on flight level 220.
Ryanair 7 generator, climb flight level 160.
Up level 160, right, that's it.
Easy 172 Alpha, turn left at 360 degrees.
Left 360, easy 172 Alpha.
November 2 Kilo Hotel, you're indicating 600 feet lower than your assigned level. Check your standard pressure for me, should be 1013, standard pressure please.
No, we haven't been given our final cruise, so
Descent to altitude 3000 feet, exterminate 1024. Descend 3000, summit 3000, connection 134, 39.
Well, hello, easy, final certificate altitude 3000, F412.
Easy 51 Zulu Kilo, London Control, climb altitude 6000 feet.
Good evening, easy, Papasera, Airbus A20 Aviation, request airflight to Praga.
As the space on the ground at Luton, I don't control that, Honest Unicom, bye-bye.
Unicom today, easy, Papasera.
BT 172, I'm ready to launch 7 me, please. Descend flight level 80.
Next flight down to flight level 80, easy 7172 Alpha.
so don't forget I always say VS is usually an inappropriate climb mode. However, the delay is being cleared, smoothing things out.
Ryanair 7 down right, straight leaving to the west, nothing further. You've got Unicom 122.8. Good afternoon.
Unicom, thanks for service, and Merry Christmas, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray.
You too, thank you, mate. On Fever 201 3000.
So, 3-4.
201, Roger, turn right to 360 degrees.
4.
Turn right heading 360 degrees, Fever 0. Object 122, whereabouts are you going? Gatwick Airport. No, that was for Object 122, whereabouts are you going? You don't seem to be following your route.
Maybe we'll just sit and observe one night and chuckle. It's cruel. text boxes. Okay, I quite like that. So that is actually relatively realistic. You might not think it, but once you get above most cloud layers, depending on the day, but your average cloud layer, visibility above is almost usually unlimited. So you can see clouds a long way away, and visibility underneath the cloud layer can be significantly reduced in haze, etc. So that actually looks pretty realistic, which is another reason I like enhanced skyscapes. Like you say, Mark, it is very good for £15, which is £12. I was certainly happy to pay it. Certainly X-Plane 12 might be just as good. It might look just as good. I really wanted to stop doing those transitions. So, I think it just picks up the local MEDOG, translates it across the sky, which is quite frankly. So 210 check diffs at 6, cabins at 4, climbing steadily, full pressurising. Why don't we put the arrival in? And we are looking for the LIPGO. They're right position, slope on. Go. Chart now. Then go. Thermo is the first restriction, 237. Yep. Goes the same all the way around because it's a point merge, so it doesn't matter where you are around that circle, straight to Osmix, so there's no be about. Do that. Right, it's probably going to be T. Well, and also for the MSA is 25 miles. Right, using reserve fuel, that's probably a spurious message now. Calculates it. Our reserves, and written down as 627, which are getting relatively close to our reserves. Isn't it? We are in the climb mode, so let's keep an eye on that. Down. Bear in mind that we do have at least it's really just under 2.6, so on that, when you get that message, do be sure to check. That hasn't duplicated. It has happened. But I don't see how it would be in duplicated. That was a lot of heads down time. You guys should be enjoying the view. Who's this ahead and above? Oh wait, right, so 5 miles ahead. Climbing 2. Oh, there they are. Look, that's pretty cool, isn't it? Who that is at the moment. Quite see the livery. They're going faster than us, or is it moving? I mean, constant relative side bearings. Hey, they're Ryanair as well, and they're going to Dublin as well. Could be interesting. So this guy is filed via ABLIN. Germany, he's 360, so we should be below. But if he's doing an ABLIN, 28, let's check the wind. Preference is probably 2.8 to be very. Except the wind isn't variable, it is 150 at 11 knots. I'm not taking that tailwind. 50 degrees off means all across. So that's 30 degrees, that means 5 knot tailwind, I suppose. Could. Oh, this could be a VATSIM fight, couldn't it? Let's have a look on flight radar and see what they're actually using. Yeah, 1-0 at Dublin, so do what? Aer Lingus 133 is just taken off. And 525 is inbound, so guess which one I'm using. Anyway, coming up to 300. So that point merge may come in handy. So sent him a message. Only 5 ahead of us. Lost head check. Cabin to 6, dips at 7.6. Steadily. Come soon. Did 10 as well. So we may be a little bit tight off. When is explained? Sorry, Mark, I missed that message. When is explained due for release? I don't think there's been a date yet. But I mean, they are cracking on. Some of the scenery work looks really good. I'll be quite annoyed if the moon and time and sunset times are all wrong. But, hey, that's been
1,000 to go.
So ideally, I just sent the guy ahead a message saying he can go Burmo Oslex, and I can follow the point merge route, because that's exactly what it's designed to do. It's effectively a DME arc, so that you can vector people off direct to the final approach fix. Except it takes all of the hassle of vectoring that the controller would have to do for that. They just clear you to a point, and then once they've assured spacing, it's a lot easier when you're on a DME arc to judge spacing. So those waypoints are, it's an 11 DME arc around Oslex, which means that, you know, if you want 5 mile spacing, somebody only has to be halfway to it from wherever they are, and wherever you are on that circle, you can then be given direct to Oslex, and of course if you're flying at the same speed, you will therefore end up the same distance apart. So it's really an efficient way of managing all that traffic. So need 1149. You need Collinstown 1, 2. Excuse me while I sneeze. And then 108. Both of those it's going to be single channel, so relatively happy with that. Depending on our loadings, we should be flying relatively similar speeds. So, just put all the data in. There's our top of descent and on. Foot above, and we can assume that we're going to around 2.8. There's the fuel coming back, which is good. 0.8 off of our current weight. Dare I go 0.6? Call it 56.9. 56. Let's be a rebel and just go 57. Flap 30. Which I will check. Wind in a moment. Give us a +6. It's going direct to Burmo. Days. That is pretty cool, and something that you could well see in real life. So we'll follow the arrival just to give him some space. And at least he's done that to come off of the airway so he's not descending directly in front of us. Though we have got 2.5 miles. ATC would of course separate us by speed. Get a TCAS. But we know that he's moving relatively to us. So you see that movement in the windscreen? That means you're not going to collide. If something is stationary like my house, he'd stayed there. Then anything stationary on the canopy, that means that you will collide with the station. So there is a constant relative bearing. Oh. It's quite cool. You wouldn't get that anywhere else, and figure it out with somebody else as well. So let's just double check the weather. It's 1400 Zulu. 150 at 11. 10k or more few at 1300 feet. So that's still VMC. Broken at 17. That's not. Six. Dew point. Which one's 1? So descent profile is going to be out by 60 or 90 feet on the end of the world. What am I looking for? Performance, which is here. Right, 0 right. I'm going to say 57. Oh, thanks, Zibo. Am I being dense? Being dense on, I was putting wind in. But it's not wind, that's the wind. Picking back. 5011. Flying over at the moment, Wales. The temperature is 6 degrees. It's map 30 initially. 7 knot headwind, 8 knot crosswind from the right. There you go, so I think we'll take order break 2. Coming off the end of the runway. That's fine. Missed approach is 277. Runway is 097. .089, active left, available right, change our fix rings. And we will need those legs available. Direct at some point. There he is. This is pretty cool, isn't it? If we're overtaking, we might end up getting there quicker. Now, you see the Ryanair livery? We should. We've got model matching on. Yes, 737, and it's Ryanair, and we're waving. So, although you don't necessarily get all the other ambience, that's it. It's not bad. It's going to be reset MCP. Yep, I was just looking at the chart. Let's go straight down to 7. For the arrival, there's no intermediate altitudes. So we are going straight ahead here, on the left, and then going round. You'll see that point emerge. And I hope I explained it. If not, we can have a look at the chart. But we find capacity to do so often. Right, recalls checked. 1021. See that gross error check? You know, it's not 10 HPA out. It's certainly unlikely to change that quickly. And if it does change that quickly, you've probably got bigger issues like hurricane. There you go, that pitch down was relatively smooth. So, I have got the plate in front of me. Oh, hello, Dublin. Shannon, good afternoon. Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray. Just left flight level 340, passing flight level 320 VATSIM.
Shannon 7 Delta X-ray, Shannon, good afternoon. Cleared LIPGO 1 Romeo arrival, landing 10 right. Stop your descent, flight level 270.
So cleared LIPGO 1 Romeo arrival, landing 10 right. Stop descent, flight level 270, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray.
Shannon, good day, UBS 249, direct Oscar, level 176, descending 130.
UPS 249, Shannon, good afternoon. Cleared Oscar 1 Romeo arrival, landing 10 right. Descent, flight level 150.
150, Oscar 1 Romeo 10 right, descend 150, UBS 249.
It's nice to turn up for the books.
Good evening, Shamrock 562 Papa, please put you in front for push, ready for clearance and taxi. Shamrock 562 Papa, Shannon, good afternoon. Clear to destination, Dexon 2 Echo departure, 10 right, squawk 6672. Dexon 2 Echo 6672.
So Cat 1 minimum is 442.
Ready for taxi. Shamrock 562 Papa, correct taxi, link 4, left, Mike 1, hold short 1634. Link 4, Mike 1, hold short 16, and Maple 05, Shamrock 562 Papa.
38 plus 5.
Good evening. FedEx 1345 sends you 140 miles south, west of Leslie.
FedEx 1345, Shannon, good afternoon.
7. Gannet at 3. Check that on the chart. There will be a level. There it is. At least we've got that for slowing down.
Liner 7 Delta X-ray, continue descent, flight level 150.
Descent flight level 150, Rhino 7 Delta X-ray.
And Rhino 7 Delta X-ray flighting 320 degrees.
Big 320 degrees, Rhino 7 Delta. So he wants a bit of separation.
Shannon control, Ryanair 143. Ryanair 143, Shannon hello, identified, cleared, LIPGO 1 Romeo, arrival, landing 10 right, stop your descent, flight 230.
Oh, we've overtaken him. Brutal. He's going to have to put that all back in as well. That's a shame. But this is the joy of VATSIM. And he's got all hang text as well.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray speed 270 greater.
270 or greater, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray.
UPS 249, descent level 80.
Get the speed up, shall we?
UPS 249. Shamrock 56, Papa, cleared cross 16, taxi, whiskey 2, Sierra 06, hold short 10 right.
So, what you'll see there is I used speed intervention because we're still in VNAV path, but we're in FMC speed.
Ryanair 143, did you copy it? Okay, Ryanair 143 is confirm you have the LIPGO 1 Romeo arrival and stop your descent at flight 230. LIPGO 1 Romeo arrival, runway 10, maintain flight level 230.
So guys, if you don't fly on VATSIM, I hope I make it look easy.
UPS 249,
It's not,
70, no speed restrictions.
but with practice, you can get there. So don't be afraid. I know I do half of folk on VATSIM, which is probably everyone's a beginner and they've got to start somewhere. Some of it is, like I said, the most useful tip: have a pen and paper. Just write everything down.
Ryanair 143, flying 330 degrees.
Learn your own little shorthand. Make something up.
330 degrees, Ryanair 143. Ryanair 143 on that heading, cleared engine control airspace.
Oh, he dropped out. Of course, this is what you don't have to.
November Tango Lima 8, Shannon, good afternoon, set squawk 6645. 6645, Anatolia 8. Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, descent level 130, maintain high speed.
Descent flight level 130, high speed, Ryanair 7.
UPS 249, return to all seconds. Flight level 380, 5 miles, bound back.
Yeah, one thing I will say, Mark, is it just makes you think. I would fly. I would find flying tubes like this very boring without the thinking that you have to do with VATSIM. One aspect is called active listening. You have to listen to what's going on, situational awareness of other people, figuring out what's for you, talking on the stream whilst listening. So it's actually also active listening.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, resume navigation direct to Burma, descent flight level 90.
Nav Burmo, descent flight level 90, 7 Delta X-ray.
Ryanair 143, descent flight level 210 for now. Descent 210, coming near.
So Burmo is the first point on the point merge. Yeah, I'm going to be slower than that when we get there.
Cautious 210, Ryanair 143. Ryanair 143, firm 210, I'll get you further down shortly. Ryanair 2, correction, Ryanair 143, speed 250.
So that 30 knot difference, you're in struggle.
UPS 249 after Osbeck, direct to ISAP, descent altitude 5,000 feet, QNH is 1021.
At 30 knots, after an hour you're only going to be 5 miles apart, so you have to give them some track miles as well. Yeah, it is really good, and the controllers are often fantastically professional.
Ryanair 143, continue descent at flight level 190. Do descent 190, right near 140.
There you go. Look at that volumetric effect. I know my screen, the aspect ratio doesn't necessarily show particularly well if you guys have just got 16 by 9.
Right, entry hotel Delta Shine, good afternoon, clear to destination.
That's a
All on
very
Echo departure, runway 10 right.
good feature. I'll put the frame rates up as well that you can see happily. Still CPU limited, so the GPU is quite happily. And then watch those frame rates as we go into climb, as the layers build up.
Sherman 562 Papa Tank, surface wind checks 150 degrees, 11 knots, runway 10 right, clear for takeoff. 10 right, clear for takeoff, Sherman 562 Papa. Ryder 143, route direct to Burmo, descend flight level 170. Flight Burmo, descend flight level 170. Right near 140.
So CPU and GPU change, but not horrifically. It's just like I say, it's just a shame about those transitions. Anyway,
143, continue descent flight level 130. Descent to 130. Right.
I'm going to leave the anti-ice on.
Ryder 7 Delta X-ray speed 250 or greater.
We'll maintain 280 Ryder 7 Delta X-ray.
Roger, thank you.
We'll need to slow at some point.
UPS 249, descend altitude 3,000 feet. From right up, cleared, island approach 10 right towards option. 3,000 right up, cleared, island 10 right, we'll go with UPS 249.
There you go, you can see Oslex, RISAP.
Ryanair 3 Hotel Delta, stop 1 forward, west push and start. Ryanair 3 Hotel Delta, push and start approved, QNH 1021, face west. Push start approved, face west, QNH 1021, Ryanair 3 Hotel Delta. Sherman 562, Papa identified, climb now, flight level 230, direct to Longboat. Direct Longboat, flight level 230, requesting high speed, Sherman 562, Papa. Sherman 562, Papa, that's approved. Good.
Just to get us below profile. Get back.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, route direct to Oslex.
Right, Oslex Ryanair Delta X-ray. There you go, straight downwind to be honest. Giving us 250 or greater, and free speed is giving us twice, so I'm going to maintain that below 10,000 feet.
Ryanair 143, route direct to Oslex.
Well, he's not that busy, so I would double check in reality it's only the sim. Just to be sure that he isn't expecting us to slow to 250 just yet.
Channel Control, good day, Lufthansa Cargo 8160, flight level 330, inbound Optuk. Lufthansa Cargo 8160, Shine, good afternoon, radar contact.
Oh well, Mark, I must be a little bit younger than you. My first flight sim 2000, but yeah, you are totally right. It is amazing how far they've come. This would have been, but when you look back at the old stuff, wow.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, descent flight level 70.
Descent flight level 70, right?
UPS 249, establish LS 10 right. UPS 249 tanks, surface wind checks 150 degrees 11 knots, runway 10 right, clear land. 10 clear to land. 10 right, clear to land GPS 249.
Ryan 143, request for the descent. Ryan 143, you can descend now flight level 90.
1,000 to go.
90, Ryan 143. UPS 249 for planning purposes. Are you going down south Pier 4 or West Apron?
West Apron.
Roger.
Rhino 7 Delta X-ray, I'd like to start slowing down.
Rhino 7 Delta X-ray, speed 230.
Speed 230, Rhino 7 Delta X-ray. Just to give them a heads up. Probably give us a descent in a moment as well. Though arguably,
Remember Tango Lima 8, no further.
we didn't need it.
Once you become 122, that's like the line.
13728.
I think I probably just estimated that wrong. The speed came
Rhino
back
143, descend flight
pretty
level
good.
70. Descend flight level 70, Rhino 140. Rhino 7 Delta X-ray up to Oslex, direct right up.
Oslex direct right set, Rhino 7 Delta X-ray.
Shannon, good afternoon, face 55, Romeo, Airbus 320 at position 312 at Dublin, ready to copy IFR clearance to Zurich, flight plan.
Swiss 55 Romeo, Shannon, good afternoon. You're cleared to destination, S2 Echo departure, runway 10 right, squawk 6677.
Clear to Zurich, out of Pacific to Echo departure, runway 10 right, Delta squawk 6677, face 55 Romeo.
Swiss 55 Romeo, reback is correct, already push and start. Ryanair 143, speed 230 knots.
Back in the days, printed manuals, still got the PFS 2000.
Ryanair 143.
You're with the charts in. Different world. Rhino 7 Delta X-ray, request further descent.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, descend now altitude 5,000 feet, QNH 1021.
Descend altitude 5,000 feet, QNH. So I'm just going to go in a relatively manual mode. Initially, keeps the decels in as well. Bit above profile, but back, so keep your eye on the green banana. All over the place with the wind as it picks up. This effect I really do love. Cloud layer and sea.
UPS 249, welcome to Dublin, vacate
See the shadows as well, clouds.
Whiskey 1, hold short 1634.
And the view is not working particularly hard. Calculating the profile there.
Ryanair 3 Hotel Delta, request taxi.
So
Ryanair 3 Hotel Delta,
1,000 to go.
5 Papa 1, hold short 1634. Take 5 Papa 1, hold
start
short
that speed coming back.
1634, Ryanair 3 Hotel Delta. UPS 249 inch left, runway 34, vacate left again, whiskey 2, then West Apron, San Joyce.
Left 16, left 52, then to the West Apron, thanks, UPS 249.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, descend altitude 3,000 feet, and from right south cleared out of approach 10 right, report established, free speed.
descend altitude 3,000 feet, direct right set cleared for 10 right approach, free speed established. Rhino 7 Delta X-ray. I got all of that.
Ryanair 143, flight heading 290 degrees, descend altitude 5,000 feet, QNH 1021.
Second please, Ryanair 143.
Ryanair 143, descend altitude 5,000 feet, QNH 1021, and flight heading 300 degrees.
So ID tuned, identified.
5000 feet QNH 1021, right near 143.
There we are within
FedEx 1345.
10 knots, flag 1 match speed.
122-8, bye-bye.
It's increasing. So speed breakout. Should just about be able to make this. And this is what gets your brain going. Mark and anyone else.
Alright, on the Unicom, thanks for the help. FedEx 13.
With VATSIM.
Clear. Ryder 143, speed 210 knots. Speed 210 knots, right near 143.
1,000 to go.
Cleared for the approach. And back. Minus 7 Delta X-ray established 10 right.
Ryder 7 Delta X-ray, thanks. Surface wind check was 150 degrees, 13 knots, runway 10 right, clear land.
Clear land 10 right, minus 7 Delta X-ray.
Ryder 143, expedite descent, altitude 3,000 feet.
This is to 3 and 5. For you.
Expedite descent, 3,000 feet.
Brakes arm, flap 5. LIPGO glide sled capture.
Right near 143.
Was relatively smoothly done. Starts
Ryder
with
3 Hotel Delta
continuous.
Cross from 1634, taxi Whiskey 3, Whiskey 2, Sierra Hold Short 10
I'll
right.
tell you what, not in reality, I
Cross
think I've got the
1634,
works.
Whiskey 3, Whiskey 2, Sierra to Hold Short 10 right now 3 Hotel Delta.
So we can bring this back to 4. Cloud.
China control gate on 641 Whiskey at flight level 360, 10 nautical miles away from Baxo.
2,500.
KLM 641, set squawk 6667.
Set squawk 6667, KLM 641.
Ryder 143, right turn direct to right up. From right up, cleared out of approach 10 right toward established. Turn right, direct right up, establish, clear establish ILS 10, runway 143.
So I'm not going to go for 5, we'll go for 4. Because that broken layer doesn't fit me in. And as you can see, flap 5
Ryder 143, speed 180 knots down
holds
to
the glide
60 maybe.
quite happily.
Speed 180 on to 60 right near 143.
I'd struggle with that. You can do it.
KLM 641,
You have got to get it right.
contact, continue.
So there's 4.5 gear down.
Sorry, KLM 641, could you repeat that?
Flap 15,
641 radar contact.
match speed. Landing checklist to flap, speed brake arm, order brakes
KLM
set.
641,
Set. It's holding on the landing flap. Gear down 3 green. With clear to land, start switch is continuous. Anti-ice can come off. Checked. Landing flap be stable by 500. The runway. So it's actually quite a long time. Map 25.
1,000.
Great. What X-ray starts screaming at us.
Flaps.
Go.
Flaps.
500's fine. That variability, those gusts, it just feel like beeline in reality. There's landing flap.
Approaching 10 right.
Get everything disconnected.
500.
Felt a bit out of trim.
400.
So the difficulty with any aircraft in the sim is you can't feel the going up. You
300.
can't feel the sink. Just got to try and keep that picture steady.
100.
Got to be looking outside in reality almost all the time when you get to 500 feet.
200.
At least 90% of the time.
Minimums.
Continue.
100.
Lufthansa 425, Shannon. Good afternoon. Set squawk
50.
660.
40. 30. 20. 10.
That's a bit of a floater. But we're down in the touchdown zone.
Out of cockpit for 2 minutes. Lufthansa cargo 8160, that's approved. Call me when back.
They're either on into win versus deploy.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, welcome to Dublin. Vacate Sierra 2, then Whiskey 1, hold short runway 16.
Vacate Sierra 2, Whiskey 1, hold short 16, run 7 Delta X-ray. And thankfully, look, manual braking. You can see Sierra 2 there. Versus are off.
Ryanair 3 Hotel Delta, you fully ready?
Hey, fully ready, Sierra 6.
Ryanair 3 Hotel Delta, runway 10 right, line for wait.
Stand from weight 10 right, Ryanair 3 Hotel Delta.
So Sierra 2, Whiskey 1.
Ryanair 143,
Straight
speed
ahead.
182 Gannet, then 160 to 4 DME. Continue approaching number 1.
Do it that quick, but hey, English clearly isn't first language.
Establish for runway 10 right near.
Thanks very much. Told you it
Ryanair
was.
3 Hotel Delta, surface wind checks
Not
15
me.
degrees, 13 knots, runway 10 right, near protect.
Oh, I didn't secure the cabin there, look, not that great a job.
Ryanair 143, speed 160 to 4 DME, 1 traffic on the roll ahead. Speed 16 on 4 DME. Runway
Shit,
143.
anti-ice, that's for the probes.
Lufthansa 425, Shannon identified. And Lufthansa cargo 8160, spec. Lufthansa 8160, roger. Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, cleared to cross 16, taxi link 4, stand 125.
Cross runway 16, link 4, stand 125, run 7 Delta X-ray. Cheers, straight ahead. Just trying to get the parking chart.
Lufthansa 425, you can redirect to Everett.
Not straight ahead, link 4, we'll just keep going all the way to the terminal. So we're clear to cross, it's not in reality. Good landing rate. Yeah, a bit floaty.
Negative, sorry.
Distance. Yeah, very floaty.
Ryanair 143, surface wind checks 15.
You're a little bit high.
Knots, runway 10 right, clear to land. Clear to land, runway 10 right, runway.
Still need
Approaching
to check,
3, 4.
just in case somebody's turning back. Is up here, so it's not going to take us long. Start the APU.
Direct Everett, Echo Victor Romeo India November.
So then 4.
Ryanair 3 Hotel Delta Airborne, passing 2000.
Oh, I moved the microphone out of the way, and you still got me coughing. Let's just bring the speed back. A bit quick for the pan.
Ryanair 3 Hotel, Delta identified, climb now 5160, right turn direct to Longhouse.
Third stand from the end. This one.
Climb flight level 160, right turn direct to Lono with you, Ryanair.
Double check. 1. 1, 2, 3. Does that match up with the picture? Yes, it does. Get the lights off before stand. Bring the speed back to about 6 knots. Roughly a walking pace. Check the brakes, make sure they work, and they do. So you don't go bumping into the terminal building. That would be an expensive end to your career. As you can see, the APU is available, so we got that slightly early. Oh, how was that for the centre line? Well, not great. Brakes on. Sponder to standby. 2 blues. Let the cabin crew out. Can't do that. 1 red. Stand. Dead. I think it's just really difficult to tell, Mark.
Ryder 143, welcome to Dublin. Vacate Sierra 2, then taxi Whiskey 1.
You've got absolutely no feeling of what's going on, and that makes a big old difference. Certainly with Zibo, with the 737 Zibo mod, you need to fly the aeroplane on rather than try and hold it off. Unlike your average general aviation aeroplane. And a few extra knots when the winds are light will float. So 30 is the standard landing flap setting. 15 is acceptable for single engine. 40 for performance, or for a Cat 3 if you want lower deck angle. Difference between seeing the runway or not. So if it's that close to a call, you choose. Anyway, look, that's us on stand. Chocks can come in. Doors can open. Turn everything off. You can go off. Not allowing engine cooling. Is that the 3 minutes after touchdown? Because 3 minutes does sound pretty reasonable. I think we had more than 3 minutes there. Again, you can set the chrono, just get that rolling as soon as you vacate the runway if you want. To be honest, it's good that they monitor that. It just goes to show everything that you've got to think about, and I certainly think it just adds to your sim experience having all these things. And then by the time you get online as well, you've got to worry about taxi instructions, other people, and go. Your frame rate, but frame rate's doing fine. I'm going to get rid of the delay. Let's just have a look around. The lights are on. Swiss. It's nice to come to Ireland and hear Irish accents.
Ryanair 3 Hotel Delta, continue climb now, flight level 370.
There's our buddy that we overtook. Cheeky as. Ended up arriving before him. Not bad for a sunset as well. Oh look, some more company traffic. We might as well watch a few of these coming. Well, I tell you what, Mark, if you've got Discord, there's Skymatics channel. I'm a member in there. I have to say, with all the unpredictable crashes, that's the reason I haven't really been streaming. Plus, being a bit busy as well. But you know, it's pretty frustrating to a flight get halfway through it and PC die. But I'm always more than happy to do some talk through. But the Discord screen sharing, I think, is as instant as you can get it. So somebody giving you hints and tips if you were looking to get into VATSIM, for instance. It's a really useful tool for that, and you know, even if you just want somebody to talk through approach planning, for instance, or top of descent, so you've got it clear in your mind, and then techniques on the final approach. There's only so much you can do not being there, and there's only so much you can do in the sim not feeling what's going on as well. Best thing to do is fly some circuits. If I get rusty, off I do. I'm sure you've seen the streams. I'll happily do circuits. Yeah, Nico's also a great guy. Knows what he's doing. But it's a great platform for interaction, more so than YouTube. YouTube's great for just I just record it for bug reports and to just show the love for X-Plane and what a relatively cheap hobby, certainly cheaper than real flying. Look, he must be on X-Plane as well, almost exactly on. Yeah, just sharing that hobby for people and showcasing what's available. A buddy of mine is a 7.3 pilot as well, and he's always amazed at how good it looks and how realistic it looks. I'm still trying to convince him to get X-Plane, but yeah, feel free to get on the Discord and ask on that training channel for help as well. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching. I've still got the radio going on in my ears. I've just muted it for you guys. And I'm going to have a look at the replay in a minute. But I think this is just quite a nice like end shot, to be honest. Apart from the strobes being on, I don't know if that's a data ref issue or not. CSLs. But yeah, don't get me wrong, hardware is expensive if you want to get some decent hardware. But the fact that you can get, probably a relatively rubbish joystick for, I don't know, £30, and you can buy X-Plane, I don't know, 50-ish, 60-ish. There's so much freeware, and for less than £100, you can have something that gets you certainly PMDG quality, if not better. Pretty realistic flight dynamics as well. It's a no-brainer to me, and right, add into that cost £10 or £12 for enhanced Skyscapes. All the Orthos free. Admittedly, I have X Organizer, which is a great tool that just makes it easy to turn scenery on and off. X Europe is all of these buildings, and my settings are not particularly high. Yeah, well, there's a lot of churches in Dublin. But the textures for the airport are AEHD, also freeware, and they're pretty good. So yeah, great sim. I'm gonna say thanks to Shannon in a moment. Just wait for a read back. He's writing that down in full or not. Again, have that pen and paper handy.
6625.
No voice receive. Maybe
Right,
text reply.
feedback is correct. Already push and start.
Why are we hearing about it?
Shannon control, KLM641 back in the cockpit. Roger.
Yeah, freeware's great. Enjoy your flight, Captain Matty. A long haul trip. Shannon Run S7 Delta X-rays logging on. Thanks for the service. Have a happy Christmas.
Right, 7 Delta X, thanks for flying. See you soon. All the best. Break. Swiss 55 Romeo. Clear to cross from 16. Taxi Whiskey 2. Sierra, hold short 10 right.
There you go. They've all disappeared. So let's secure the airplane so it doesn't look ridiculous. And let's do some overlay. Yes, I have to give. No, I have to end flights first. Do not forget to do that. Right, so good. Easy one to forget. So let's crack on some replay. Some external views. Where did we touch down? See the ortho here. That's going to get a lot better when it comes to X-Plane 12. I don't know if you've seen the previews, but yeah, air textures. That's not bad. The airfield textures are good. Oh, is that a... It's just the window. Bad. Well, I can't help you there, Captain. Because the only large airliner I have is Concorde. And I'm flying that because it's still a bit buggy. So you could always think about doing it in multi-stops. Do the Zibo and do it in 2 hits. I know the Max has got some pretty good range. Obviously, there is the Zibo Max. There is the Walter White rip-off, which is now a mod of the mod to try and get around the questionable practices of the origin of it. Pop it into Simbrief, you might be able to Jeddah. About how many? Difficult to know. That's a pretty good ortho. Pretty good scenery as well. Still a bit stuttery. That did go away, but it come back sadly. Initially, Vulcan was really good with the no stutters. Anyway, guys, as always, thanks for watching. I should hopefully be streaming a couple more times. Real world flying on Thursday. Happen. I don't see you before. Have a great Christmas. And until the next time, look after yourselves. Have a good holiday period. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye for now.